Good everything. It is about 10 a.m. September the 2nd. We're at 70 degrees, going up to high 70s, low 80s today. And I am starting in the orchard area today. So I'm trying to consolidate some things, and I noticed that when I first planted in this area, the first row was peach, the second row was pear. Well, this pear didn't make it, but whatever they grafted the pear onto, I have a mulberry and what looks like a crab apple is what they grafted that pear onto. But this is what we have going on in this area. Now, where the vineyard should be, because I had the grapes planted back here, I have some volunteer mulberries. So I do not want all of these. So I'm thinking I'm going to trim down a few of these, because I am thinking of trellising the cucumbers in this general area next season. So that's one project. Next project is going to be I'm going to move the cassava. I'm going to take it closer to the house, because with these cold temps, I need to make sure that they don't die. And these are going to be stored in the basement this winter. But this is how the cassava is doing so far. And I think I ordered 3 and I got like about 9 or 10 cuttings, and as you can tell, they're loving this area. But I'm gonna move them closer to the house. As to the sweet potatoes, I am not gonna harvest them until they start dying back. But before I show you that, do a test here on the sorrel to see if we have any fruit, and I don't see anything. The sorrel and the callaloo has definitely taken over this area. This is the fail on the cucumber trellis, and once they start dying back, I'm going to clean up this bed. What I thought was eggplant look like it's okra, and I had 3 or 4 plants in this bed, and now that the cucumbers are dying back, they're finally able to get some sun, and I might get an eggplant or 2, okra or 2 from them. Now the tipper ones are finally starting to put on pods, so that's good. I got some more tomatoes to harvest. Anyway, back to these are some of the volunteer tomatoes that I put in this bed, and they have fruit that I need to harvest. However, as I was saying, I'm not going to harvest sweet potatoes until everything dies back. So let me get some harvesting going, and I will bring you back. Alright, so this is the end result. This is what I envisioned in my head. So my intent was to have an orchard, have a vineyard, have a berry row over there, have an area for my citrus fruits, i.e., you know, limes, lemons, kumquats, oranges, that kind of thing, which would, in my zone, have to be taken in. The plants would have to be taken in and placed in the basement over winter. So the question may be asked, well, I know you've bought elderberry and mulberry cuttings before, so why cut those down when they're sprouted up and doing so lovely? Well, they're not where I want it. So that's reason one. Reason two, I could drive down several back roads and possibly run into an elderberry or a mulberry bush and harvest if I so choose. However, I wanted one of those plants in my garden. So we'll see what the one over there in the orchard does. But I was hoping to get something in the yard. Obviously, I will then manage the growth of it so it don't get out of hand. So next task, move these cassavas, then I'll show you what my harvest was for the day. I will go from there. All right, so this is the harvest. I did manage to harvest pick four of the 6 apples I saw in that tree over there. One was rotted and one is too high for me to reach. It needs a few more inches. That's going to be a husband task. Now, I picked some pole beans. Now, when my pole beans get this big, they're not quite dry to harvest seed, but they might have been a little long gone on the vine. I blanch my beans before I saute them. So they may look a little older than usual, but they're going to come out delicious. And I typically blanch with olive oil and some butter and onions, garlic, some ginger, and some red pepper flakes. Chef's kiss. Picked one of my red pippins. Now, as far as the okra, I think 5 was on today's harvest, and this one is way far gone, so I'm gonna put it back in the okra bed, let it dry out. The seeds will pop up next season. This wasn't that far, so I'm gonna have that as a snack along with all the rest. So that being said, that's it for me out here today. I'll bring you back later. It's the 3rd of September. It's about 6 in the morning. Got my husband to pick that apple for me. I ate one yesterday and it wasn't infested with anything on the inside, so I'm gonna cut these up today and make my favorite apple chips. So that's what we're doing today, apple chips. All right, so I got 5 trays out of those 4 apples, and I'm gonna give them about 10 hours, and then we'll see what they produce. Everything. It is September the 4th, 2025. It's about 8:30ish in the morning. Woke up this morning. We were at 45 degrees, so I figured I would come out here, harvest some of these cantaloupes to take to the pantry. I harvested 5 so far. I have 1, 2 in here, and about 2 small ones in there that I know are not ready, so I'm gonna just take these 5, and then hopefully it warms up and we could come back out here and do a little bit of gardening. Well, good everything. It is Friday. It's about 1:15 and it's about 68 degrees. Not going to get much warmer today. We're basically overcast. We have a breeze going on. It was definitely warmer yesterday than it is today, but I did not come back out. So today I'm gonna do a little bit of yard cleanup. That way, if the temperatures continue to drop and I don't get to it, I'm not gonna feel that bad about it. But I figured I would come out here today anyway and try to get some stuff cleaned up. So let's get started. These planters didn't much provide anything. Got overtaken by weeds. So I am going to get them cleaned up, and we are going to get them either in the garage or in the barn. But they did not produce for me this season. I think I saw one morning glory. The iris bed over there and the hostas behind, well, at the side of the house, they're still green. So I'm going to give them a couple more weeks and see what they do. If it gets too cold for me to pull, I'll just have to deal with it in the spring. But we are definitely feeling the effects of fall. So got my goal accomplished. Got that cleaned up a bit. Empty some soil in here. I saw this wiggly thing on this plant, but I guess he disappeared now. So got those brought in and put up in the garage. And then I noticed that my jalapenos are ready to be harvested, so there might be some hoppers in the near future. And not all are big as I would like them to be, but perhaps I'll come out tomorrow and harvest them. Anyway, it looks like the cold spell is taking its toll on the acorn squash. A lot of dieback going on. Tomorrow I'm going to come and take some of these buckets and put them in the greenhouse. And next year we'll try again with the with my homeopathic area. We're going to try the ashwagandha, the borage, the hyssop, the fenugreek again, and see if we could do better next season. No more ripe pippins. And got this here, but it's another small purple one. As with that, this one is turning. And I have some okra that I can harvest. I don't know, but I was turned on to just picking your okra and eating it by Diva Jones, and it's actually sweet. But the last few that I harvested, I ended up putting in the dehydrator with the apple, and dehydrating it brings out that sweetness even more. So if you hadn't tried dehydrated okra, that might be something to try. Got some tomatoes here, nothing ready to be harvested. Some beans are, and I saw a few more cucumbers, but I'm not going to harvest them right now. Anyway, I'm going to call it a weekend. I trust everyone had an awesome Friday. I hope you have a spectacular weekend, and ancestors willing, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.